विष्णुपादाय श्रीगौरप्रियमूर्तये श्रीमते भक्तिवल्लभतीर्थगोस्वामिनामिने कृपया क्षमतामपराधिजनम् खलुषायुतशक्तसुदीननरम् सुपथे परिचालय सर्वदिनं प्रणमामि च माधव देवपदम् वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ग्रंथेरारंभे करि मंगलाचरण गुरु वैष्णव भगवान तीनेर स्मरणे हय विघ्न विनाशन अनायासे हय निज वांछित पूरन। So today is an auspicious tithi. Today is the disappearance of Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhu, one of the principal associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Rupa Manjari has become Sri Rupa Goswami in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. Rupa Manjari is foremost among the companions of Lalita Sakhi or servitors of Lalita Sakhi. Lalita, who is the best companion of Srimati Radha, and Radha Rani is best among the servitors of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami, who is Sri Rupa Manjari, is very, very dearmost to Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And thus, Rupa Goswami, who is none other than Rupa Manjari, is very, very dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, she has appeared as Sri Rupa Manjari. And Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, both of them were the high-class Brahmins, Bharadwaja Gotra, from Karnataka, South India. Very, very, orthodox Brahminical family. But because his father and his grandfather, they have come to Bengal in order to work, earn money. He worked under the Muslim king. Therefore, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, in their life, they had associated with the Muslims only a long time. However, their Brahminical qualities or their desire to perform Hari Bhajan, that was not lost. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was traveling to North India via Bengal, at that time he went to Ramkeli, village Ramkeli, and it is the place where uh, Rupa and Sanatana and third brother Anupam, all three were living at that time. So Mahaprabhu went there basically to meet with Rupa and Sanatana. He went there, and Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they came, they offered obeisances. Through this particular process, they have established, or the Supreme Lord has shown this particular pastime to all of us, that even though the devotee may stay very far off from the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, or from the Supreme Lord, at their time of meeting, how jubilant both the Lord and the devotee will be. How pleasing will it be to the heart of both devotee and the Supreme Lord, in order to show this meeting of a devotee and Supreme Lord as being very, very special. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami and Mahaprabhu's meeting has been, planned by Supreme Lord only. And as soon as they met, Rupa and Sanatana, when they met Mahaprabhu, immediately their desire to give up their family and their job and join Mahaprabhu's mission had become very, very strong in them, because Krishna Bhakti was already there. And when they saw Mahaprabhu, as if their life has become completely successful by his meeting, they wanted to leave immediately. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at that time, he initiated both of them. Initiated means he gave them initiation of name. Rupa Goswami, he was earlier Dabir Khas, because they have been, working with the Muslim king. The king had given him the Muslim name Dabir Khas, and Mahaprabhu, he told, from today onwards you will be Rupa. He addressed him as Rupa Goswami, Rupa. And the other Sanatana Goswami, he was earlier Sakar Malik. So he immediately called him, my dear Sanatan. In this manner, by calling one as Sanatan and other as Rupa, the Lord has initiated both of them in the form of name, giving them the name. That is what it happens at the time of initiation. Guru gives the name. That is basically our initiation to Krishna Bhakti. Now, after that, Rupa and Sanatana, they repeatedly prayed to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to bring them out of their material pit. They have fallen into the pit of material, misery. They addressed it as Ku Vishaya Vishta Garta. It's a ditch that is filled with the stool. What kind of stool? The most stinking sense enjoyment. Please deliver us, relieve us from this ditch. Other than you, nobody can rescue us from this. Mahaprabhu told, don't worry, I have come here only to rescue you. Please join me very soon when I am going to Vrindavan Dham. He comes to, and then during that trip, he comes back to Nilachal Dham, and a few months later, again he plans to go to Vrindavan. Rupa Goswami, meanwhile, he had given up his ministerial duties, and he sent 2 messengers to Jagannath Puri Dham in order to receive the news of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travel towards Vrindavan. As soon as Mahaprabhu's travel to Vrindavan has started, immediately the news Vaishnavas and the Brahmanas And he was doing Purush Charana and then waiting for this news. The news arrived, immediately he had set forth towards Vrindavan. And Sanatana Goswami also, he had given up his uh, ministerial duty, and the king got him arrested. We will hear it when we hear about Sanatana Goswami. The king got him arrested, even though he used to love him a lot. He got him arrested, and then he went to attack Odisha. And Rupa Goswami had written a letter to Sanatana Goswami telling that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travel towards Vrindavan has started. You please free yourself as early as possible, come and join, come and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he himself has set forth to Vrindavan. And in Vrindavan, on his path to Vrindavan, he met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag, the current day Allahabad. This is the place where Rupa Goswami met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for the second time. He offered obeisances to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was accompanied by his brother Anupam. So Mahaprabhu blessed both of them, and then he told that Krishna is very, very merciful, that he has delivered you from most dangerous pit of material existence. But Rupa Goswami says, my dear Lord, I don't know the mercy of Krishna. I think I take this to be your own mercy. By your mercy, we have got relieved from this. And then he started praising him, or singing the glories by saying, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvise Namaha. This you are Mahavadanya. You are greatly magnanimous. There is no one as magnanimous as you. In this manner, they offered obeisance. Rupa Goswami offered obeisances to him, and Mahaprabhu asked him to stay with him for few days. Wherever Mahaprabhu was traveling in Prayag, Mahaprabhu took him along with him. One such devotee is Sri Vallabh Bhatta. He got an opportunity to meet with Vallabh Bhatta when he was in Prayag. Vallabh Bhatta was astonished to see the humility of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami was so humble. We will read in Chaitanya Charitamrita. When we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, we will go through this particular message where Rupa Goswami's humility, actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was testing Vallabh Bhatta's devotion, whether he could really understand Rupa Goswami's humility as being one of his qualifications of Sharanagati or not. Vallabh Bhatta, because he is also from Vaishnava Sampradaya, he could understand. So he was actually astounded to see the humility of Rupa Goswami. Now, after that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he started giving instructions to Rupa Goswami, which we call as Sri Rupa Shiksha. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is there, one chapter, I think 19th chapter, in the Madhya Leela. So where Mahaprabhu gives so many instructions to Rupa Goswami. Because Rupa Goswami is going to write several literatures based on the instructions that Mahaprabhu gave to him. Rupa Goswami is considered as an Acharya of Abhideya. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojan. Sambandha means knowledge of relationship. Sanatana Goswami is an Acharya of Sambandha, Gyan. He worshipped Radha Madan Mohanji. And Rupa Goswami is the master, spiritual master of Abhideya. Abhideya means the path, the procedure to attain the Supreme Lord. That is Bhakti. So all the precepts of Bhakti, the symptoms of Bhakti, what is Bhakti, All these things are very, very nicely and elaborately explained by Rupa Goswami in several scriptures of his. Because Mahaprabhu had given him these instructions, which we know as Shri Rupa Shiksha. So, in Rupa Shiksha, Mahaprabhu is giving several instructions in which we will just read a few lines that Mahaprabhu spoke to Rupa Goswami. This is very, very important for all of us, for all the conditioned souls. What is the gradual elevation process to Krishna Bhakti? It is not that simply we started performing Hari Bhajan, the next day we are in Golok Dham. It is not so. Today I started performing Hari Bhajan, tomorrow I will have very strong relationship as Krishna as my lover. It's not going to happen. There is a gradual process of elevation. Every sadhaka, every practitioner will have to pass through these various levels of practices and devotion. That Mahaprabhu had explained to Rupa Goswami, and Rupa Goswami has elaborated that very nicely in several of his scriptures. Now, what is that? ब्रह्मांड भ्रमिते कोनो भाग्यवान जीव गुरु कृष्ण प्रसादे पाए भक्ति लता बीज. Brahmand Brahmite Kono Bhagyavanji. While wandering in this material world, a very greatly fortunate soul, because we have passed through 84 lakh or 8.4 million species. And then we have got this human birth. While wandering in this manner, a person who is extremely fortunate, Guru Krishna Prasade, by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, he will get the seed of Krishna Bhakti. Mali Hoya Guru, he gives the entire scriptural knowledge, entire devotional knowledge in the form of a seed. And now, a disciple will have to take that seed and then he will have to develop it all the way up to the tree. All the devotional mellows and all the absolute bliss, ananda, is within that seed. Now it is up to the disciple to extract that seed. Just like in the previous yugas or in the previous years, the father, he used to give the address of a big mine. My dear son, I have stored so much wealth for you at this place. Go there and you will get it. Because if the father or if the king hands over the property very easily to the child, he will not be able to understand the importance of it. So, he has to earn it. The father has already earned it. It's already there. But in order to own it also, he has to undergo certain activities. In a similar manner, Guru and Krishna, by their mercy, we have got the seed. Everything is there in the seed. Now it is up to us how we want to develop that seed and how we want to extract all the different kinds of mellows from it. Of course, it happens by the mercy of Krishna only, but we need to do our part. What is that? Mali hoya kare sei bij aropan shravana kirtana jale karaye sechan. You have to become a gardener. You have taken the seed and you have to sow it in your own garden of the heart, in our own heart. This has to be sown, and Mali Hoya, you have to become the gardener. And Shravana Kirtana Jale Karaya Sechan, and you need to water it. Just by putting the seed inside the soil does not mean it will give tree. You have to give water to it. What is that water? Shravana Kirtana Jal. This Bhaktilata seed, the water of Bhaktilata seed is Shravana and Kirtana. Hearing Krishna Katha and speaking Krishna Katha. This is the water. Upajiya Bade Lata Brahmanda Bhedi Jai Biraja Brahmaloka Bhedi Paravyoma Pai. And if you properly garden it and continuously give water of Shravana and Kirtana, then slowly this seed will sprout. And then slowly Bhakti Lata, the creeper of devotion, the seed has got that creeper of devotion inside it. So if you give water of Shravana and Kirtana, that creeper will grow and further grow. In this manner, it grows, and what does it do? Brahmanda Bhedi Jai. Because the seed does not belong to this material world, this seed does not bear fruits in the material world, it bears fruit in the supreme abode. Therefore, it breaks through the Brahmanda, to the cosmos. Viraja Brahmaloka Bhedo Paravyamapai. It will also cross the Brahmaloka, Viraja and then Brahmaloka, and then ultimately it will attain the Paravyoma. Paravyoma means spiritual sky. Now we have material sky. Their spiritual sky is there. What is spiritual sky? Krishna Naam, the holy name, is emanating from the spiritual sky. So the seed that has been given by Sri Guru, when we properly take care of that seed and give water of Shravan and Kirtana, it will break through the Brahmanda, it will pass through Viraja, which is the junction of Brahmanda and Brahmaloka, the Brahman realization. Brahmaloka means not the Brahma. Above Viraja is Brahmaloka, means Brahma, the Lord's effulgence. And even it breaks through that Paravyomapai and it will reach the spiritual sky. Tabe jai tadupari goloka vrindavan Krishna charana kalpa vrikhe kare arohan. Then it will not stop there. The growth of this creeper will not stop there. This creeper will further grow and enter into Goloka Vrindavan. And it will take shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna. Because the mantra, the seed that we have received from the Sadguru is of Goloka Vrindavan, it will transcend even all the Vaikuntha planets. Because it is Krishna Prem. So what does it do? It takes shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna. Taha vistarit hoiya phale prema phal, iha mali seche nitya shravana kirtana rijal. And after reaching Goloka Vrindavan, it will start to yield fruits. In Goloka Vrindavan, it will yield fruits. Means the fruit of Krishna Naam is not material. The fruit of Krishna Naam that we received from Sri Guru is not material. It bears fruits only in the spiritual sky, not in the material sky. And Iha Mali Hoya, whereas the aspirant stays here in this material world as Mali, as a gardener, and he is every day pouring water of Shravana and Kirtana. Means every day he is speaking the glories, and he is also listening the glories every day. Jodi Vaishnav अपराध उठे हाथी माता उपाड़े बा छिंडी तार सुखी जाए पाता. But Mahaprabhu is giving warning to all of us through Rupa Goswami, because Rupa Goswami has to elaborate all this in his scriptures. He is telling the seed that we have received from the pure devotee will bear fruit in Goloka Vrindavan, And the creeper will also take the shelter at the lotus feet of Vrindavan. But in between, if Vaishnava aparadh, offense to a Vaishnava, which is compared to a maddened elephant, if this enters our garden, then what will happen? Just like an intoxicated elephant, we heard in Kartik Vrata, in front of the intoxicated elephant, anything comes, it will simply trample or uproot, throw it away, and completely destroy the forest. So here, Vaishnava aparadh, offense to the Vaishnavas, is compared to that intoxicated or maddened elephant. What will it do? Upade ba chinde tar shuki jai pata. This elephant will either uproot or trample or destroy this particular tilata. Tar shuki jai pata. And all the leaves will slowly they will dry and they will be finished. Tate mali jatna kori kore aropan aparad hasti jaiche na hoy udgam. Therefore, fence your Bhaktilata tree properly so that the maddened elephant, that is Vaishnava Prad, does not enter inside it. Means in the practitioner's life, if we are performing any kind of offenses, then we will not get Krishna Prem. It will be finished. We have to guard ourselves from engaging in the Vaishnava Parada. It's very, very dangerous. किंतु यदि लतार संगे उठे उपशाखा भुक्ति मुक्ति वांछा जतो असंख्य तार लेखा. Now I have protected very nicely from the elephant also. I have fenced it nicely, and then so that elephant does not enter, it will not be able to trample. That is taken care of. But Latar sange uthe upashakha. There are weeds that also grow along with the main tree. What will happen is, if you go on putting water, slowly, the weed will develop. The roots of the weed, the stem of the weed, this will get developed slowly, and the main seed that we receive from Sri Guru, that will slowly start to dwindle. That's why here it is said, Kintu jadi latar sange ute upashaka. If there are any weeds that grow along with this creeper, bhukti mukti vancha jato asankhya tar lega. What are the harming others? Labha puja pratishtadi jato upashaka kan. And desire for name and fame, and desire to get worship. All these are called as upashakha. These are called as the weeds. When we are growing a plant, these weeds will also develop simultaneously. Shekajal paya upashaka badi jai, स्तब्ध होइया मूल शाखा बढ़ते ना पाए. Now when we are giving all our energy to increase our name and fame, for prestige, then what will happen is, Sekajal paya upashaka jai. This weed, it will become very, very strong. Now I have sown the seed of devotion, but my weed is becoming stronger and stronger. Then stabdha hoya moola shaka badite na paye. Even though we are putting water, means even though we are performing devotional service, even though we may be chanting, we may doing all the things properly, but because the entire water is going to the weeds, oh, he is such a wonderful speaker of Harikatha. Oh, he's such a sincere listener of Harikatha. He listens so attentively, so carefully. In order to hear to this, in order to hear this, he is performing chanting and hearing, but not to sing for the purpose of Supreme Lord, for the purpose of propitiating Supreme Lord. Therefore, in such a case, what happens is Sekajalapaya Upashaka Badijai. These weeds will grow further and further. Sabdahiya Mulashaka Badide Napai. Whereas the main tree, that is the tree of devotion, it will stop growing. It will stop growing further. प्रथमे ही उपशाखार करे छेदन तबे मूल शाखा बाड़ी जाए Vrindavan. Therefore, my dear devotees, or Mahaprabhu is telling, my dear son Rupa, you have to remove this weed in a very, very early stages. Because when it becomes very strong, it's difficult to remove. When it is in a very tender state, you will be able to remove. When the roots have become very, very strong, it has entered into earth so strongly and it has got deeply rooted, then the energy to break it, the energy to uproot it is increased many, many times more. Therefore, Prathamehi Upashakar Kare Chedan. As soon as one realizes that there are these anarthas are entering into my into my heart. I mean, they're already there, anarthas, but they are growing further and further. And what you need to do is remove it. Tabe Mool Shaka Badi Jai Vrindavan. Only then, whatever water that we are supplying in the form of Shravan and Kirtana, that will be reaching the main tree. And then it will go all the way to Vrindavan. So in this manner, in brief, there are several other instructions he gives, but briefly Guru Maharaj has written here the instructions he gave. And then after that, Mahaprabhu sends him to Vrindavan. He stays in Vrindavan for several days or months, and then he again comes to Nilachal Dham to meet with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This time he stays in the house of Haridas Thakur, where Haridas Thakur is. And Mahaprabhu would every day come to see Haridas Thakur. At that time, he would meet Rupa Goswami and he would introduce him to all the other associates of Nilachal Dham to him. One time, when Mahaprabhu, he took bath in the ocean and then he came to the house of Haridas Thakur, where Rupa Goswami is also living. Suddenly, his eye fell on the roof. Rupa Goswami has written a verse on a palm leaf and then he tucked it onto the roof, which is made of the dry leaves of palm tree. He tucked it into it and then he himself went to take bath. Now Mahaprabhu took that and started reading it. It's actually a verse that Rupa Goswami has composed narrating the feelings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Radharani in front of Jagannath's cart. The verse that he had chanted in front of the Ratha of Jagannath Dev, that is from some mundane scripture that describes about a man and a woman. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he narrated in a very, very pure manner. The devotees were surprised why Mahaprabhu is speaking about this relationship of man and woman. Swarup Damodar Goswami was the only one who could understand. Then, after that, by the mercy of Swarup Damodar Goswami, Rupa Goswami also could understand. So he has written a beautiful verse expressing Radharani's feeling towards Sri Krishna, and then he had tucked it in the roof. Mahaprabhu read it and then he immediately surprised, who has written this? And Haridas Thakur said, it's written by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami? How did he understand my heart's feeling? Meanwhile, Rupa Goswami comes and offers obeisances to him. Mahaprabhu asks, who has written this? Who told you to write this? How did you understand this? It's your mercy. Immediately Mahaprabhu slapped him in love, out of affection. How did you understand my mood? And then he showed it to Swarup Damodar Goswami. See, Swarup, see, our, Rupa Goswami has written this verse. How could Rupa understand my feeling? Then Swarup Damodar Goswami told, by this I understand that you showered your mercy upon him. Otherwise it would not have been possible for him to understand. Mahaprabhu was very, very pleased. On another occasion, Rai Ramananda comes there. There was a great discussion that happened between Rai Ramananda and Rupa Goswami. Very wonderful discussion that is explained in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Rai Ramananda is asking questions about Lalita Madhav and Vidagdha Madhav, and then he is answering what is the subject matter and who is the object of worship, what are his invocation prayers, all these things he is explaining. And then he told, please talk about the Ishtadeva, who is your Ishtadeva. Then Ishtadeva means your dear most worshipable Lord. Then he writes about Mahaprabhu. He writes in such a manner that Mahaprabhu says, it's exaggerating. Why are you writing like this about me? All of us should sing the glories of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Mahaprabhu was internally pleased that Rupa Goswami could understand his mood and who he is and for what purpose he has come. Anarpita charim chirat. And then one day Mahaprabhu asks that Rupa, please describe the glories of the holy name. Then, from whatever he composed, he told this verse, Tunde Tandavaniyam verse. This verse, when Mahaprabhu heard, he was immediately dancing in ecstasy. Wow, such a beautiful description about the glories of the holy name. He calls Haridas Thakur, Haridas, have you heard the glories of holy name? Haridas Thakur, after he recites this, he is also dancing in ecstasy. And then he is telling, Namacharya Haridas, he is Namacharya, he is the one who is completely, relishing the sweetness of the holy name. That Namacharya Haridas Thakur is telling, my dear Lord, I have heard several glorifications of the holy name in several scriptures. Various descriptions I have heard in various scriptures. But I have not heard the one like this. This is so beautiful. All of us should know the glories of the holy name. In this manner, Haridas Thakur himself was completely exhilarated by, hearing to this verse. And he got infinite blessings of the devotees, of all the Vaishnavas, Rai Ramananda, Swarup Damodar, Namacharya Haridas Thakur, Prabodhananda Saraswati. So all these Vaishnavas, they blessed him profusely. And again he went to Vrindavan, he stayed there, and then as per the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that is, 4 assignments are given to the Goswamis. That is, Bhakti Shastra Pranayan, writing the devotional scriptures, Lupta Tirtha Uddhar, to redeem all those pilgrim spots of Radha Krishna which have become invisible to the material eyes, and Shri Vigraha Seva Prakash, manifestation of the service of the deity form of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, Nama Prema Prachar, propagation of Lord's name and Prema, Krishna Prema. These are the four responsibilities that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had given to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, etc. So we are called as the followers of Rupa Goswami, Rupanugajan, or our Guru Varga is called as Rupanugas, the followers of Rupa Goswami. Because Rupa Goswami is the foremost among the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who had given abundant scriptural, scriptures in Krishna Prem, about Krishna Prem, Radha Prem, Gopi Prem, etc. All these things are very nicely, vividly explained by Rupa Goswami. The entire Sampradaya owes a lot to Rupa Goswami. So today is his disappearance day. It's also disappearance of Sri Gauridas Pandit, but unfortunately we didn't get time. Just in one or two lines, Gauridas Pandit is Nityananda Parshad, associate of Nityananda Prabhu, and his brother is Suryadas Sarakhel, the father of Jannava and Vasudha, who were married to Nityananda Prabhu. And Gauridas Pandit, he had made his housing in Ambika Kalna, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had come personally by crossing over Har Nadi, a river, that's one stream of Ganga basically. Har Nadi, he crossed on using one, what do you call, the paddle. It's called paddle, right? The paddle in the boat. So he used a paddle to cross the river, and that paddle was given to Gauridas Pandit. Told that you keep this and then you make everyone cross over this material ocean. And there is also Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's handwritten Bhagavad Gita that is there in the Shripat in the house of Gauridas Pandit. The devotees can see even today. And it is also the place where Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu personally stayed by seeing the love of Gauridas Pandit. Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu had to stay there permanently, and the Vigrahas of Gaur Nityananda, they moved away from there. So today also it's his disappearance day. There are several pastimes, but we have no time. So today is the disappearance of Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Gauridas Pandit. I offer my innumerable prostrated humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of both these great Vaishnava Acharyas. May they free me from all the offenses that I might have committed unto their lotus feet, knowingly or unknowingly, and make me eligible to serve the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna birth after birth. I pray my most humble obeisance unto the lotus feet of most revered Srila Gurudev, who is the non-different manifestation of Rupa Goswami and Sri Gauridas Pandit. I beg forgiveness for all the offences that I have committed to him, either knowingly or unknowingly, and pray to his lotus feet that may he offer the service of his lotus feet birth after birth. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री श्री गुरु गौरांग गांधर्विका गिरिधारी श्री श्री राधा मदन मोहन पंचतत्वात्मक श्री गौर हरि की जय। परमाराधितम पतित पावन स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति वल्लभ तीर्थ गोस्वामी श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। नित्य लीला प्रविष्टो विष्णुपाद प्रणव स्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति दयित माधव गोस्वामी महाराज की जय। जगत गुरु श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर प्रभुपाद की जय। श्री श्री रूपानुग गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ षड गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री श्री रूप गोस्वामी प्रभु की जय। तदीय तिरुभाव तिथि पूजा की जय। जय श्री श्री गौरीदास पंडित प्रभु की जय। तदीय तिरुभाव तिथि पूजा की जय। श्री श्री राधा गोविंद देवेर झूलन यात्रा महामहोत्सव की जय। जय श्री श्री चातुर्मास्य व्रत की जय। व्रत पालन करे भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री हरि कथा श्रवण करे भक्त वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।